Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'm going to be walking you through the crypto markets right in the afternoon. Today we're going to be starting off with the short term for Bitcoin, and that is the hourly. Then we're going to be going on to the mid term for Bitcoin, and then we're going on to the long term for Bitcoin, right? Without further ado, let's start off with the hourly, which is the short term for Bitcoin. As you can see here, we didn't come up from referencing from this morning stream, right? We didn't come up. We didn't actually get to this major level of resistance here at 39.5. Actually, we just trickled up and we came back down. We lost support on this 21 moving average here. And then it's just been progressively down all day, right? Progressively down all day for the short term for Bitcoin right now. We did lose the 21 here. We did lose the price action channel, and then we did lose the 55, right? We actually came down. We curled back round. We did actually set some higher lows continuously up on the hourly chart now, and we're looking at kind of a trend reversal, right? We're looking at a trend reversal, seeing that momentum towards the upside. We have come up. We have tested the 21 moving average here, and we have tested the 10 moving average here, but we tested it, right, and we found a nice level of resistance here, and we basically just came back down, and now we're stuck. We are stuck right now on the price action channel and the 55 moving average. Can I see momentum towards the upside improving? At this point in time, yes, I can. Yes, I can, because as you can see here, we did set higher lows continuously, and we are continuously doing that, so I can see this trend basically continuing up. If we don't see a higher high of this uptrend that we've got going on here get set from this hourly candle that is basically just begun, right? If we don't see a higher high getting set there, and then that is basically going to initiate basically a downtrend coming through there, and a reversal in the trend that we've got going at the moment, which is an uptrend, right? And we will lose the 55 if that happens, and it will be a swift rejection from the price action channel there. So it's definitely something to think about, definitely something to look at when trading Bitcoin on the short term right now. If we do not get over this higher high of this uptrend that we've got going on here, in the reversal from this downtrend, then it is looking like we are to reverse and come further down, setting a lower low, right? Setting a lower low, potentially even coming down to this level of support down at 35.2 there. Scary stuff for Bitcoin, because that could initially mean that we are going to come down further than that and test this 34 zone here, which, in my opinion, isn't healthy at all. But as I said earlier this morning on this morning's stream, I did say, look, we do have this progressionary uptrend. It's pretty steep, right? You can't deny that's a pretty steep uptrend that we got going on there. So it's only right that we have some sort of correction looking like this, right? In terms of percentages for this correction, which we are looking at, we're looking at around an 8% correction. In terms of the actual pump from the second lower low that we saw here, it was around 27. So we've corrected literally 8% out of 27 at this point in time. And that is why I guess we've had this price reversal from here, right? It does make me think that we are going to come up and we are going to test this 39 zone. That is on the basis that we do get a higher high here in terms of this trend, and we do smash these major moving averages on the short term for Bitcoin that we've got going on here, right? Just check all audio is going. Yeah, it's all going well. Yeah, so I think target-wise for Bitcoin at this point in time, if we are going to progress to the upside, this is going to be the target, and I do think we are going to see some resistance here around 39.1. Hopefully we can get there. If we can get there, that would be ideal, because that would look a bit more healthy in terms of this being an actual recovery and not just a trend reversal, right? In terms of a trend reversal, we would be seeing coming down to this point around 35.1 and then potentially 34 there, which we don't want. In terms of a target for a horizontal resistance point here, we've got to get over this downward sloping resistance line that we've got here, but we got to get over that, find some support on that before we even get to this point now, right? If we were going to do that earlier today, it wouldn't have been so hard. We could have come up, we could have tested this horizontal resistance line, but unfortunately, this downward sloping resistance line is coming at an angle, and we've been scurrying around all day. We've been going down all day for literally no reason, right? We've been going down all day when we should have been riding along this, testing it, breaking it, finding support, and finding a next leg up, right? Because you can consolidate pretty healthily after a pump like this, right? You can consolidate pretty healthy in a nice sideways motion. You don't actually have to go down, right, before the next leg up. So ideally, this isn't what we wanted today. And this could still signal basically another swing down, which isn't great, right? Which isn't great. But ideally, we need to get through these moving averages, come up, test this downwards sloping resistance line here, test this horizontal resistance line here, and then basically test this 200 moving average on the short term here as well. If we can get over all of them, find a nice level of support here, then I am going to be looking at a potential long position to the upside there. Obviously, depending on what's happening on the other time frames as well. But on the short term, that is looking pretty good indeed, because we are going to have a lot of levels of support below us. But that is on the predication that we do actually see a higher high here in terms of this uptrend, which we're currently in. And basically signify that we are going to keep going up rather than have a reversal and come back down yet again, right? In terms of the RSI right now, we did find a nice level of support on this downward sloping resistance line. Downward sloping support line that we found on the RSI here. We did, and that was basically why we rebounded. We rebounded from this point here, where there's no moving averages, no levels of support really. A couple here, but nothing really major, right? Nothing really major. It's more to this lower point here. That's where the level of support. That's where a lot of people's targets would have been. But no, we didn't get there at all. We actually found support on this point on the RSI, and that's why we've progressed to the upside from here. In terms of what's happening on the MACD right now, we do have this dominant support line that's being pretty dominantly respected, right? Pretty dominantly respected for Bitcoin right now, and that's another reason we saw that reversal in the trend, right? We saw that reversal in the trend. We haven't quite hit that bullish crossover yet, but we are getting there. You see this moving average at the bottom here. It is curling over. It's curling around. It's looking like it's going to do something along the lines of this, and this one's going to come down quite steeply, and then we're going to have a bullish crossover there, and then a reversal in the trend, and then we're going to see a nice spike to the upside, which is an indication that we are going to come up and basically test this 39k mark. Definitely something to think about when trading Bitcoin on the short term here, on the hourly. I'm just going to jump straight across to the midterm now. I think that's pretty much the short term covered. Guys. So if we jump to the midterm now for Bitcoin, as you can see here, right? As you can see here, we did have this falling wedge. Well, we do have this falling wedge here, and we did see that break to the upside. It wasn't quite what we were expecting in terms of a measure move to the upside, right? It wasn't quite what we were expecting in terms of measure move to the upside, because as you can see, we would have basically come up, we would have taken a nice profit at this 55 moving average here. But as you can see in the price, we did not get there, right? We did not get there. I did take this trade, and I released a video why I took this trade and why I didn't take profit at this major moving average, this 55 moving average we've got here, and I took profit literally at the top before we saw that reversal here. I will explain referencing the RSI now. As you can see, we do have this horizontal, it's downwards sloping resistance line here on the RSI, which we prominently respect, right? We prominently respect it, and that's basically why when we were around down here, I thought, look, by the time we get to that downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here, we're not going to even get anywhere near the 55 moving average, and that's where a lot of people's take profits would have been for that measure move there. I think I made around 8% on that trade there. Yeah, around 8% on that trade, something like that. Yeah, just over 8, just under 8%, around 7% there. Because I noticed that on the RSI, I noticed we were going to find a resistance there, and that's obviously what we're seeing now, right? That's obviously what we're seeing now. In an indication what could happen now, we are seeing a bit of buying power on the RSI on the midterm here. So that's an indication that we are going to basically come up in price. We are going to come up in price, and we are going to basically, hopefully, tap on this 55 mark, and that will basically get us all the way up to 40k, which is what we're... A lot of people want to see 40k for Bitcoin, right? A lot of people want to see 40k for Bitcoin, and that basically references coming up to this this 39k mark and testing all these major levels of resistance here. And if we can get over that on the midterm here, if we can get over the 55 on the midterm here, then it's looking like we're going to have the support of these downward sloping resistance line here and this horizontal resistance line here, and also the 200 moving average on the short term. So we are going to have a lot of support if we are to get over this 55. So there's a potential long position there, potentially up to this 48k zone in terms of like a long trade. But obviously, if that was to happen, we would need to see some sort of confirmation of definite price reversal, because at this point in time, we do need to smash out these lower highs here in terms of horizontal points to cross here. So like this point here, we are going to have that resistance at 41.5. Definitely something to consider here. A sneeze. God. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, we do have that horizontal resistance point to think about, and we do need to basically overcome these lower highs here to basically have the confirmation that we are going to see a reversal in the trend and basically a kickstart to the bull market again, right? In that sense, right? Kickstart to the bull market again in that sense. But as I said on the RSI here, if we are going to come up, we are going to basically see some resistance there. So it's definitely something to think about as well, right? Definitely something to think about. At this point in time, we are potentially looking at a head and shoulders pattern for Bitcoin right now. As you can see, let me draw out for you. You've got shoulder here, head here, looking at a shoulder here. So that's potential that we are going to come down, test the volume weighted ATR band that we've got coming down here, which is this green line here, and potentially test this downward sloping resistance line on the top side of this falling wedge here as well, right? Definitely a position to look out for. We could still get down to 35k. if we potentially find some insane resistance on the RSI here once we come up and then bang it down to 35k, because that would still basically line up perfectly with the top side, with the I guess the left side of this shoulder, right? It would line up with the left side of this shoulder to the start of it, so we could still get to this point here and then get swiftly rejected from there, right? So it's definitely something to consider here. In terms of the MACD right now, for a Bitcoin on the midterm, in terms of the MACD right now for Bitcoin on the midterm, we are looking at a pretty dominant uptrend, right? Pretty dominant uptrend, and that was obviously formed by this insane amount of buying power here, right? We are near enough having that that crossover, right? We're near enough having that bearish crossover on the MACD here, and that could indicate some sort of trend. But with that being said, right, we obviously do have this support line on the MACD here, which I was looking at this morning. We do have this support line, which could basically mean, right, it could mean that we're at the end of this downward trend cycle that we're looking for here, or when we have this bearish crossover on the MACD, we're going to see a pretty flaccid, a pretty pathetic little downtrend here, and that could initiate basically a nice bounce to the upside in terms of an uptrend, right? Because obviously we're going to have this level of support here. We are going to get a pretty flaccid trend potentially, but with that being said, we could get a flaccid trend, or we could get a pretty dominant news cycle, right? If we're looking to get a new cycle, it's going to be huge, right? It's going to be a big lower low, and we do need to think about that when trading Bitcoin for the midterm here, because if we do get that, it's likely that we are going to basically fall off an absolute cliff, fall off. We're going to lose the volume weighted ATR band. We're going to lose this downward sloping resistance line here. I mean, at this point in time, we're trying to claim this 21 moving average and the 10 moving average here and find support on them. If we can do that, ideal, right? Ideal. That's a nice bit of reversal in the price there, and it's looking like we are going to progress to the upside, right? Best case scenario, we actually engulf this candle here. End this candle at around 39.3. Then it's a definite sign that we're looking to progress to the upside. And obviously, we are going to have to smash through all these major points of resistance on the short term here, right? And that's kind of the midterm for Bitcoin, right? Pretty much summed up. In terms of price targets, I would be looking for, to the upside, I'd be looking at a price target of 40,200, but obviously take into account we do have these points of resistance to smash through as well. So short-term price target, it'd be 39.3, right? In answer to my question on this video, are we going to tap 39? I think we are. I think we are going to get up to 39 and then probably see probably 39.6 around that point there, when all these start to sort of correlate. Then I think we're going to see some downward selling power, and I think it's basically going to be a sideways day for Bitcoin. That's basically what I can see sort of playing out as sort of a prediction. That was the price prediction in terms of the upside for the midterm there. In terms of the downside price prediction, if you're looking at getting in a short or something like that, then I'd be looking at a take profit on the top side of this downward sloping resistance line here, or taking profit on this volume weighted ATR band as this curls over. Obviously, depending on the price action, this volume weighted ATR band is going to curl around like this, right? So it's definitely something to consider. In terms of the price for that, it's around 35,399. So definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin on the midterm. Right now, to the long term of Bitcoin, right? Straight to the long term of Bitcoin. As you can see here, I'm just going to have some tea, right? Ugh. Also, guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button up. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, I'm a new streamer here. I think this is like my 9th stream, right? But yeah, I do stream every single morning for 1 to 2 hours in the morning, and I'm aiming to get a stream in the afternoon as well, like I am here today, giving you guys an update. I also do emergency updates, altcoin videos. I am fairly new to YouTube, only been here for around 2 weeks now, but daily uploader and all of that jazz. So if you like all that stuff, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? Now, straight in to the daily for BTC, right? Straight into the daily for BTC. As you can see, this lowest point, that 30K Bitcoin that we saw, that absolutely crazy stuff, the 30K Bitcoin we saw there, we saw basically the support, the absolute hefty, muscly support that this volume weighted ATR band had here. And that basically gives us a nice level that we know that we're going to get to if we are going to dump to the downside and try and set a lower low there, right? If we're going to set a lower low, we're going to be looking at a potential long position from around 29K, because if you put into percentage, if we longed from this last touch of this volume weighted ATR band here, we would have been looking at something, because obviously we would have taken profit at the 200 moving average there, because we use that as a nice basic pivot point. So yeah, we would have taken profit at around 35% there trade for Bitcoin, which is just absolutely insane in terms of one trade. over the course of literally a day, maybe less, because I remember how volatile all that was there. At this point in time, right now, this on this live daily candle that we've got going on here, we are currently testing this 10 moving average that we've got coming down. If we can find a nice level of support on this, I can see the next target being this 200 moving average that we've got going down here, and that is literally around 41,800. So definitely something to think about, a price target if we are going to surge to the upside, right? As you can see, we are setting higher lows. We're setting higher lows continuously on these daily candles, right? Which is good in terms of a nice reversal in the price for Bitcoin itself, right? And obviously the reclaim of this, let me get rid of this indicator, right? The reclaim of this bull market barrier, that what we've got going on here. If we're blue, we're in a bull market. If we're red, we're in a bear market. If we're yellow, we're undecided, right? At this point in time, we have flipped red, right? We have flipped red. We've lost the bull market barrier. It basically means we're in a bear market, right? But if we flash back to the last bear market that we basically entered, right? At the top of the bull market before, we came down, right? We came down. We had that uncertainty in the market, and that's why we had this yellow point here. And that's when we came down, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, we're in a bear market." That is it, right? That is absolutely it. But nope, we actually had that insane retracement, right? That insane retracement right the way up, near enough 100%, right? Near enough 100% retracement for Bitcoin. So that makes you think, right? That makes you think, before continuing that bear market down until we hit that 3K Bitcoin, which was insanely cheap, right? But that does make you think, right? It does make you think, could we have something sort of similar happening here, right? Something sort of similar happening here. So if we go from this point here, the low that we had, and then we do 100% up, it's just crazy, right? We could even retrace to 60K and then have that continuation to the downside. It would be an insane trap in trading history if the whales and all the big guys were to do that, right? That would just be absolutely insane. And I know for a fact they'd make a hell of a lot of money, because they would trick a lot of people, right? They would trick a lot of people and trap a lot of people in that market, because everyone, as soon as we clear this bull market barrier, a lot of the big corporations and a lot of the hedge funds and stuff, they're just going to go long to the moon, because they think Bitcoin's basically recovered in this V-shaped pattern, and they're like, yep, that means we're going straight up from there. But no, be cautious if we are getting to this sort of level, because we could see literally panic sell, swift rejection from there easily, right? We saw how quickly this dumped. It can easily happen again. I could say that with assertiveness, some word like that, right? It could happen again, right? But the target price for this bull market barrier, which we're looking for right now, is around 43, right? We need to get over 43 to have even that slight inkling of confirmation that we're going to come up from there, and then our next target is 47, right? Ideally, that would be brilliant. We are, as I said, we are setting high lows continuously every single day here, ideally, but the actual pinnacle point that we need to get over to confirm that this isn't just literally a wave to the upside before we continue down, right? Before we continue down, bit of a bull trap going on there, but the pinnacle point, as I was just trying to say there, before I interrupted myself, the pinnacle point here that we're trying to get over is these two lower highs that we've got going on here. These two lower highs that we've got going on here. If we can get some sort of support above them, potentially coming up over the 43K mark, that would be absolutely ideal, right? That would be absolutely ideal. And that's basically the confirmation that we are going to have that continuation to the upside, right? But if we don't find support at this level and we find a level of resistance, we could literally drop off a cliff here. We could drop off a cliff and basically come back and see around $33 Bitcoin, potentially even lower. I see the next horizontal point is probably around this point here, around 33. We do have one around 34.7 as well. Definitely things to take into account. We're trading Bitcoin on the long term here. But yeah, as I was just saying, targets, we need to get over this point here for the long term for Bitcoin. Let me bring up that WOD machine again, because it is going to have some major moving averages there to talk about. As you can see, these two lower highs that we've got going on here, that is actually supported by the 200 moving average, right? So that's definitely some sort of target to think about. Maybe a short, right? Maybe a potential short of that 200 moving average to the downside, because we know there's going to be insane resistance here, because this is literally the pinnacle point for Bitcoin, whether we're going to continuation in the bull market or whether we're going to continuation in the bear market, right? Very, very good stuff. That kind of sums up Bitcoin for the long term here. Sums up Bitcoin in general. I've done the long term, I've done the mid term, and I've done the short term, right? Let me jump to Ethereum, guys. If you've got any altcoins at all, chuck them in the chat and I'll do a little TA for you. Not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. We'll jump to Ethereum straight away. As you can see right here, we do have a falling wedge, right? Massive falling wedge. This is obviously on the hourly. We have been in this since the 19th of May, right? Just gonna have some more tea. Oh, very nice. Before streaming, I had no idea how strenuous it would be on your throat just talking continuously. But yeah, back to Ethereum. Next target for Ethereum, looking very nice indeed in terms of upwards buying power right now. Look at that. Upwards buying power right now. In the last literally 3 hours, we've seen a nice 10% rise for Ethereum. That's just insane, right? That's absolutely insane for Ethereum right now. So well done to anyone who bought this dip right now. I'd be looking at a take profit at around 200, is that right? Yeah, 2,690, around the 200 MA there. Definitely something to consider. In terms of percent for that trade, if you were looking, I wouldn't have probably got in just below this moving average because that would have been a pretty dumb move if we closed below it when we did there. I would have got in as we cleared it and as we saw that potential volume to the upside there in terms of a percent. So I'm going to do the percent from there. It is looking like near enough a 10% gain for that trade there, 10% gain for that Ethereum trade there. And it's looking like we're going to get there. So well done, guys, to whoever got into that. For me, I wasn't around for that. I was doing other things, right? But in terms of a measure move that we saw the other day play out for Ethereum there, in terms of a percent for that, we're looking at a nice 13% gain for that trade as well, right? Measure move simply as done like so. Go from that trend to the bottom bit there, and then you bring it to where we broke. Simple. Very nice indeed. In terms of what's happening at the price now, price target looking for Ethereum, looking up, testing this horizontal resistance point just around this point here. And then we do have a horizontal resistance at 2,710 to think about, as well as this 200 moving average that's coming down as well. Definitely things to think about in terms of resistance, in terms of if we can find a nice level of support on there, if we can break this higher, this trend here. And it's going to be absolutely ideal, right? It's going to be absolutely ideal. And also, we do need to break this lower high point of this trend here. And then that basically gives us a nice confirmation of reversal. And from what I'm seeing now, this buying power to the upside for Ethereum, we are going to see a bit of FOMO in the market. And look at it. It's just pumping up now. It's just going to the moon, right? We are just going right up right now. If we need to clear this level of this horizontal resistance point to push further. So that's definitely a point to watch around the 2,656 mark. In terms of what the RSI is doing now, I'm pretty sure we're going to be near enough overextended. As you can see here, we have just broke this downward sloping resistance line here. Well, we haven't broke it. Well, we did break it. Actually, we came below it. Basically, potentially tried to find resistance on it, but actually found a nice level of support. As you can see, us progressing to the upside here. Very, very good stuff. But make sure, right? Make sure if you're in your Ethereum trade, right, to watch this RSI, because we become overbought here. If we become overbought here, we're going to be looking at a nice bit of resistance to the downside. So that basically initiates that the price is going to stop off at a certain point, potentially at one of these resistance points here. And then we're going to see a reversal. We'll see a reversal in terms of the RSI, in terms of selling power, and also a massive reversal in the price potentially, right? The quicker we're going up, the bigger the reversal is going to be. That's usually how it works, right? In terms of the MACD right now, we're on the downtrend, right? It's pretty surprising we're on the downtrend, but the more we're pumping up here, you can see we're getting imminently closer to a bullish crossover on this MACD here. And from looking at certain higher high points here and then lower high points here, we're looking at some sort of trend looking like so. So when we do see that bullish crossover, we are likely to see another wave to the upside, right? Another wave to the upside. Obviously, that's going to have to correlate perfectly with the selling power on the relative strength index there. So definitely something to think about, right? Because if we are going to find a nice level of support on here, we could be looking at some sort of price action coming up like so, right? Coming up like so. That's definitely a mistake. I've got to keep doing that on the chart. Yeah, something looking like so, right? We could be looking at, let me get rid of that. We could be looking at something like coming up, testing this 200, scaling around this horizontal resistance point here, finding support on there, coming up, and that's when we're going to see that downtrend coming up on the MACD here. That's when we're going to see the downtrend coming up on the MACD, and also the downward selling power on the RSI here when we get to that fully extended level, right? Well, not fully extended, like overly bought level, right? So I definitely think we are looking at finding support on this if we can find enough buying power to the upside. We are retracing a bit now due to that insane pump there. Very, very cool stuff live on the stream there. Right, in terms of a price target, as I said, we need to get over this point, and then we could be looking at some sort of position from there. Obviously, referencing the RSI and the MACD on there, right? In terms of the lowest point that we could see, if we are likely to see a nice strong rejection from this 200 moving average and this horizontal resistance line here, we are looking at to smash through this 21 moving average, to smash through the price action channel, to smash through the 55. Likelihood, we're not going to see an imminent correction looking something like that. We're potentially going to see us ride down like this if we do, and then the price target would be around 2,230. I mean, I can't really see that happening anytime soon for Ethereum, as we have obviously all seen this insane buying power for Ethereum and the insane confidence in the market for Ethereum, right? Not just that, it is, people love it. People are really, really Ethereum addicts, pretty much near enough the same as Bitcoin at this point, right? It's definitely getting to that point. Definitely getting to that point indeed, right? Right, so Ethereum right now, that is the hourly. Let's jump to the daily, right? Let's jump to the daily for Ethereum right now. Ethereum right now for the daily. As you can see, we did continuously set lower lows. We did continuously set lower lows here for this downtrend that we had going on here. Continuous lower lows, continuously forming, right? But then we're gradually setting higher lows continuously on the daily, which is good news in terms of a trend reversal. But as I said before, on Bitcoin, we do have this pinnacle point to get over at around 2,700, right? With pinnacle point to get over around 2,700, and that does mean breaking through major moving averages here, and we do have this volume weighted ATR band coming down here, which is usually, it's a fairly strong indication that we are either going to see some resistance or some support. As you can see here, we do usually find a nice level of support on it here. This is obviously this tiny thin red line here. If you follow that all the way down here, level of support, level of support, level of support, resistance, bang, found support to the moon, right? Definitely something to think about, because at this point in time on Ethereum, right, at this point in time, we are looking at coming up to it. We are coming up, and we're looking at testing this volume weighted ATR band. Once we've come up, once we've tested it, if we can find a nice level of support there, we are going to correlate perfectly with this major trend line that we've got coming down here, right? Correlate perfectly with this major trend line. Find a level of support on that. Find a level of support on the 55 moving average. There is a nice potential long position to think about there. Very, very juicy, right? Juicy long position on the long term for Ethereum. Obviously, on the basis that we break these lower highs that we've got coming down here. If we break them and find level support on all these major resistance points at this time, we could be looking at a nice surge to the upside, seeing a $4,156 Ethereum yet again, potentially challenging the all-time high. Very nice to see for Ethereum. I would like to see that, definitely I would, right? Definitely I would. At this point in time, Ethereum, it's not looking too bad as long as we can break this point here, as long as we can break these lower highs as discussed. Let me jump to BNB now. Let's jump to BNB on the long term, right? We're looking at the daily chart for BNB for anyone who wants to copy this right now. As you can see, we have just bounced clearly off this 200 moving average, right? We have bounced clearly off this 200 moving average. We're currently trying to find support on this horizontal support line at the moment, where it's resistance at the moment. We're currently trying to break through the resistance on this horizontal resistance line here. So if we can break through that over the next 9 hours and a half, we could be looking at a progressive move to the upside. But as I said, on most charts right now, we do get these lower lows, right? We have had these lower lows continuously being formed on that insane downtrend that we've had there, and then we've seen a reversal, right? The higher lows being formed on the other side all the way up. That's ideal scenario. That's what we want for that V-shaped recovery, that trend pushing up, progressing to the upside. Very nice stuff indeed for the continuation of the bull run, right? If that is to happen, that would be absolutely ideal. And that's why all these points at the bottom here were very, very good accumulation points. Definitely something to think about, because at the moment, if you rewind, say like a week, everything is so goddamn cheap right now. It's so goddamn cheap. So cheap. XRP is under $1. Like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, right? So great accumulation points. If you've got the cojones for it, and you think that this is basically a bull trap here, and we are gonna progress to the upside, and it was scaring everyone out to selling at really cheap prices, then yeah, offload your whole net worth into it. Smart move. I'm joking. Don't do that. That's not financial advice. In my opinion, you should have like 5 to 10% of your net worth in crypto. No more, right? No more, right? Because it's not stable, right? As we've seen this last week, we did see insane progression we priced to the downside. And I imagine you had your whole net worth in there. Bang. Literally 60% of your net worth. 60% of your net worth gone. Insane stuff. Don't be doing that stuff, right? In terms of BNB price right now, what we're looking for, we're looking at finding support on this level here at around 332, and then progressing to the upside. A nice target at the volume weighted ATR band at around 433. Definitely something to think about there. Also, we do have these major moving averages coming down as well. So it would be nice if these all kind of coiled up together. We had a nice coiled up point here. The price came to it, we broke to the upside from there, and then found a nice level of support at around this point, and continued up, right? Continued up to this, to what would be the test of this major trend line that we've got coming to the upside here, right? This major trend line that we've got coming to the upside from that rising wedge on the long term there. That would be a lovely point to test and a lovely bit of trend reversal in my opinion, right? And it'll basically confirm that we're going back into that bull market if Bitcoin is to follow suit, right? Or if this is to follow the same suit as Bitcoin, if it is likely to do the same things. But as I've said on many charts here, we are looking at this lower high. We need to break this lower high for that confirmation, right? For that confirmation to the upside, right? For the confirmation to the upside here and for support, right? But be aware, there could be some major resistance points around this level, right? Around this level, around the close and around the top out, right? It could be some major resistance level points here just because, one, we got this volume weighted ATR band, and two, it is happening on near enough all of the crypto charts right now. We need to break these lower highs to see progressionary movements to the upside, right? So keep that in mind when trading literally all cryptos right now, right? Definitely something to take into account, especially looking at this BNB chart. I know some charts are different, but this BNB chart at this point in time on the daily looks, we need to break this point, right? As simple as that, right? Let me jump down to the hour. No, let's go to the 4 hour. Let's go to the 4 hourly time frame for BNB right now. I was on this earlier. I was looking at a nice long position to the upside, and that's what I did my lunchtime video on. I was looking at a nice long position to the upside off this 21 moving average here. But unfortunately, we didn't close the 4 hour candle above it. If we'd have closed the 4 hour candle above it, I would have been looking at a nice long to the upside here, potentially taking profit just below this 55 moving average, taking some profit at around this price action channel here, probably around 50%, right? Because we didn't have that much certainty in the market, and we would have had a nice level of resistance here to think about, right? Definitely a trade that I was looking forward to. But unfortunately, the 4 hour didn't close above the 21, right? Didn't close above the 21, so I was like, it's not looking that good now, right? It's not looking that good. Obviously, we did bounce. We had a nice bounce of this volume-weighted ATR band coming down here, it's pretty predicted. As you can see here, we do find we bounce off it quite a bit, right? We do find we bounce off it quite a bit in terms of price action. And we haven't recently because we were trading so far above it on this side here. Let me go back in time, see if we can find a nice reliable bounce for BNB. As you can see here, very reliable bounce, right? So at this point in time, we did bounce off it very clearly. We bounced off it very clearly, and that could basically initiate a nice move to the upside that we're yet to see, right? We're yet to see a potential move to the upside from this from BNB here. I mean, for me, that trade opportunity has been and gone. It looked very good there and then, but at this point in time, it's not looking as friendly for me. In that sort of sense. If I jump down to, I think there was something on the RSI before. I can see, downward sloping resistance line here, coming it down from this top point here. If you look at something along the lines of this, that we did basically challenge it, and we found that resistance at the top of this uptrend here before we saw that pull back in terms of price coming down to that 21 and coming down to that volume weighted ATR band. And we're looking at basically coming up to test that level of resistance yet again, right? Definitely something to consider when trading Binance coin at this point in time. And that is a reason why I won't be entering that long there, because we are likely to see some sort of resistance here. And it's basically an initiation that we're not going to come all the way up and test the next level of resistance at 432 there. Just going to have some more tea. Oh. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit me that thumbs up. Smash that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously. And also, I stream every single day. Every single day in the morning. Obviously, I'm a new streamer, but every single day in the morning, 8 or 9 a.m., around that sort of time, I will be streaming for an hour or two, doing a little TA on the markets. I do a short term of Bitcoin, the mid term of Bitcoin, and the long term of Bitcoin. And also, I jump onto some altcoins for some potential positions to think about as well. Anyway, back to BNB right now. We were looking at a long position, but obviously we do have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI, and we know we're likely to find some resistance from that, which will obviously create some sort of selling power in the market. So likelihood, we're going to come up to this point here, probably around 375, potentially even lower, 357 there. If we do come up to that point, then I'm looking at basically a rejection from there. Not shortable. It's not shortable because we don't have enough confirmation to the downside in terms of trends. And also, we are pretty caught up in terms of moving averages and stuff here. Like in terms of the price action, it's just going to be a bit of sideways action if we are to get rejected from this point here. So it's definitely something to think about in terms of BNB right now. If you're really itching for a scalp, I would potentially be looking for a scalp up from this 55 moving average on the 15-minute chart and having a nice target at around 367 and this volume weighted ATR band here, because we do primarily bounce down from there, right? We do bounce down from there and find the resistance. If we don't, then we trade above it and we see a nice uptrend forming above it. And obviously this is the volume weighted ATR band, this pink band here, and vice versa with this green band, right? The green band at the bottom, that is the volume weighted ATR band as well, a great indicator that I use. And as you can see, we do find that nice level of support on it continuously, or we break that support and then we basically come up and we find it yet again. We always come back and find it, right? I've not seen a chart where we've never come back and found it, right? So it's always a great indication of where the price is going to go. And at this point in time, we have just kind of switched to I guess a mini uptrend on the 15-minute here. So if you're looking for a scalp, look for that support on the 55 and aim for that percent all the way up to this point here, around a nice 10% gain for BNB there. Definitely something to think about for you itchy scalpers out there. Right, straight to Doge, right? Going to go to Doge on the daily, right? Don't really like Doge. I've never really liked Doge. I think it's a joke, but a lot of people like Doge, so I'll do a bit of Doge, right? In terms of what's happening here with Doge, right? In terms of what's happening here, as I was discussing, this volume weighted ATR band, crucial, right? It's crucial because we've come down, we've tested it a few times. We've tested it a few times and we found a nice level of support. We found a nice level of support and we've progressed to the upside. In this daily candle, we have near enough got to it. It's down at 31 cents 3. Now we got to 32 cents in terms of this candle here, but we are finding a nice level of support on this 55 moving average, which is definitely something to think about because when we find support on this 55, we usually have a nice pump to the upside, right? A nice pump to the upside, nice pump to the upside. Obviously, it doesn't look so big, but we are on the daily chart in terms of percentages. You're still looking at something along the lines of this, right? Still like a 12% gain for Doge, right? So it doesn't look that big because we're on the daily, but it is still big indeed, right? So if we are looking at finding a nice level of support, finding a nice daily close on this candle, right? After the close to the top side of this 55 moving average, we've come down, we've retested, then we close the candle. Then we're probably going to be looking at some momentum towards the upside, right? Momentum towards the upside. Crazy. We do have this price action channel to think about as well as a level of resistance. As you can see, we are finding resistance off it here. We did find resistance off it here. If we can find support on it, you can see the momentum towards the upside from there. See the momentum towards the upside from there. So it's basically crucial points to watch at around 38 cents there for Doge. Definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider if you are going to be trading Doge on the long term here. These are your crucial points. If we lose the 55 here on the daily, that's the 33 cent mark. Looks like we're going to have a continuation down to around 31, potentially even losing that. I don't think we're going to lose the volume weighted ATR band, but it's a daily candle, right? As you can see here, these wicks. They're wickety wickies. We could be setting another higher low coming down around this point, creating some sort of trend line looking like so, right? So we could be seeing a price action of around 29 cents, which could potentially liquidate some long positions if you were to get in early and not wait for this candle close here on the daily, right? Let's jump to the four hour time frame for Doge right now. As you can see, it is pretty. I mean, it's not the best. It's not the best. We have had this downwards, obviously this downwards trend here from Bitcoin, and we've seen this reversal. It's not quite as strong in terms of upwards buying power as a lot of the charts that I've seen today. Not quite as strong, but we are seeing that reversal, right? We're seeing that reversal in the price. We're seeing those lower highs being set here. And the lower lows on the bottom side being set as well. So it's definitely something to think about in terms of buying power, because at this point in time, we are looking at testing this 21 moving average. If we can get over this 21 moving average, we're likely to find a nice level of support on it and progress to the upside, potentially to this price action channel around 36, right? So if you're looking for a target, right? I'd be looking at around 36 cents there as a price target for Doge at this point in time, if we are to hold this 21 moving average. Something to think about. I mean, as I said, I don't like Doge, right? As I said, I don't like Doge, but obviously a lot of people trade it, so I do a little bit on there as well. We do obviously have this pretty dominant trend line coming down here to think about. We do have this coming down here to think about. So we are potentially looking at seeing that 36 mark as a potential target as well. If we're likely to get over this trend line here, our next target, our next horizontal resistance point to be looking at is 38 cents, right? Is 38 cents, and it is going to correlate perfectly with the 55 moving average coming down, which is obviously a dominant level of resistance and support, and also the 200 moving average that we've got coming down here as well. I'm just going to have some tea. Oh, very good indeed. Yeah, so in terms of targets, right, as I was saying, we've got that 36 cents to the upside. If we are to lose this moving average, this 21 moving average that we have got coming down here, At this point in time, I can't really see us setting a lower low than what we've got here, right? That's down at 24 cents. It's absolutely ridiculous. I see the lowest point that us potentially getting to is this level of support down here around 28 cents, right? So that is something to potentially think about if we are to basically see an imminent reversal in the trend. Obviously, we do have this lower low being set here in the last 4-hourly candle, right? The current 4-hourly candle, we have had this higher low be set here. So at this point in time, in terms of percentages, to get back to that point, we're pretty far away. It's still a 6% move. And obviously for Doge, we've all seen that happen in literally no time at all, right? Obviously it happened in this candle here pretty imminently into the downside, right? If you look 11% to the downside. So we could easily see that over the course of the next, I don't want to say the next hour. I don't want to say the next hour, but the next candle indeed. If we are to see that and not see this high low get respected and see a lower low, that basically initiates that we are going to have that continuation down. If we are going to have that continuation down, I would be looking for a target point at around this level of support, at around 28 cents there. Definitely something to think about. Potentially long position coming up from this volume weighted ATR band here. As you can see, as I say, it does primarily get respected, right? In terms of a percent for that, if you were to just get in along, bang, all the way up to the next, moving average that we've got going on here, you would be looking at around 26%. Very, very nice indeed. So potential long position looking at around 27 cents for Doge. I mean, as I said, I don't like Doge, but it's pretty tradable, right? I hate to say it. I do hate to say it is pretty tradable, and I have made money not buying Doge, right? Not buying Doge and doing all that stuff. I had made money trading chart patterns, not just hodling, right? Made money trading chart patterns. Very nice to trade in my opinion, right? And that's kind of Doge sort of summed up. Let's jump to XRP here. I'm going to jump to XRP. I know quite a lot of people that are pretty bullish on XRP, right? Quite a lot of people that are pretty bullish on XRP. And for a good reason, right? It's actually a cryptocurrency with a goddamn use. Right? It's got a use. A lot of the international banks around the world use it to transfer money, right? That's more than a lot of other crypto users out there, right? More than a lot of other crypto users. As you can see, on the long term, we do have this this rising wedge coming through here. This rising wedge coming through, which definitely something to consider, because we haven't lost it like a lot of the chart patterns that we did lose. I'm talking a lot of all cryptos lost their major chart patterns due to that filthy dump. Well, that's the wrong thing. The absolutely filthy dump down to the downside from Bitcoin, which obviously moved the market crazy, right? Let's get to the long term. Yeah, this filthy dump, that happened here. Filthy dump that happened here. Obviously happened on the XRP chart as well. But we did actually respect the lower side of this rising wedge, which is great to see. Granted, for XRP here, we did get to 64 cents, which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy. But it's not as bad as like 20-cent Doge or something like that, right? We did respect this dominant trend line to the upside, to the bottom side of this rising wedge here. Remarkable. We did see a measure move actually get completed from this giant symmetrical triangle, which a lot of people were talking about for a long time because we were imminent for a break. Mind you, remember, this is the daily time frame, right? This is the daily time frame, so you can see how long we were in this symmetrical triangle, right? And I hate to say it, it's pretty goddamn healthy. It's a goddamn healthy triangle. So yeah, we did actually see a nice break, nice measure move to the downside from there. In terms of a measure move looking like something like so, we were looking at this here. In terms of a percent for that right now, that was a very juicy 30% trade for XRP there to the downside. But obviously, it was pretty hard to predict because this dump here was pretty much just Bitcoin and just drove the whole markets to the floor, and a massive panic sell happened, as you guys probably know. But obviously, we were testing the top side of this symmetrical triangle here, so that's just unheard of, right? We're testing the top side of the symmetrical triangle, and then we see a price correction of around near enough 50%, right? Who can predict that, right? No one can predict that, unless you're on the film The Big Short, right? If you guys have seen that, very, very smart dudes there. So in terms of price prediction for XRP, I was waffling on a bit there. In terms of targets, right now, I'd be looking at a $1.18 coming up to test the 55 moving average, and that would be to the upside here. But obviously, as I was saying, on a lot of the charts, we do have these lower highs to think about here when coming down, these lower highs to think about, and that's going to cause a massive level of resistance here. So we could potentially see some sort of correction off the 55 moving average coming down here. Or if we are going to move to the downside, and we could come down and test this lower side of this rising wedge that we've got going on here. But that is potentially possible because if we are to test the bottom side of this falling wedge, this rising wedge here, it's not going to be a lower low, right? It's not going to be a lower low. It's going to be a higher low continuously. So it is still going to be a healthy uptrend in terms of a reversal from this dirty mess that we had here, right? This dirty mess that we had here. It is still going to be a valid reversal that we're looking for, right? But obviously, as I said, we do have this crucial point on the daily to get over. And we do have this 200 looking at support. If we are to lose this this trend line and the bear market is to swallow up XRP, which I highly doubt because I do think XRP is going to trade to the opposite of a lot of the major coins at this point, because it's actually got a use, as I was saying at the start of this TA here. It's actually got a use. Some very fundamental things going on there with that. The absolute bottom I can see is potentially finding a nice level of support on this horizontal support line at 69 giggity gaggity goo, 69 cents there. Definitely something to think about, right? On the 4-hour time frame for XRP here, as I said before, we did have a nice measure move down from the symmetrical triangle, as you can see here. We did come up and currently test this price action channel here. We did come up, test this price action channel here, and we saw this swift rejection, right? We saw the swift rejection to the downside, setting that lower low. We've just set another lower low in terms of the 4-hour candle here. Not great, in my opinion. Not great, in my opinion. Better if we can hold this 21 moving average. If we can hold this 21 moving average at candle close, that would be ideal. We could potentially look at some sort of leg up and then a higher low being created, initiating a sort of reversal in the trend there. But at this point in time, we have set a lower low in terms of this downtrend, right? And that basically initiates that we are going to continue down. We are going to continue down in terms of a target price for that. We do have this essential volume weighted ATR band coming through here. And as you can see, we do find major levels of support on it, really. We do find major levels of support on it. So we could be looking at a bounce from there, coming down something like this. And that is around 0.78 cents, right? 78 cents there for XRP. Very, very cheap accumulation point in my opinion, right? And as you can see, we have had that insane pump to the upside, and we have had continuous high lows being set, right? Continuous high lows being set, and this is potentially just a little bit of reversal, a little bit of correction, because you can't have insane gains like this without some sort of correctionary period before another wave up. So don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic sell. Don't panic sell. Do not panic. We could be seeing a reversal in the trend here. In terms of progression rate to the upside, as we have just seen progression rate to the downside, right? So yeah, just watch the price here. Watch the price here, and see if we can set a higher low here, a higher low above that 87 cent mark, that 87 cent mark. But as I said, lowest point that we are looking at here is 78 cents. But compared to the lower low that we had before, around the lowest point of XRP recently at 65 cents, it's still a higher low at the end of the day, right? It's still a higher low at the end of the day. We could be seeing something along the lines of this, right, happening in terms of a chart pattern. Definitely something to consider, definitely something to take into account, because at this point in time, obviously, the markets are very, very, very trappy indeed. Very, very trappy indeed. Now, right now, we could be looking at some sort of head and shoulders pattern for XRP. If we are to come up, right? If we are to come up and test this level of resistance here at around $1.24, a potential head and shoulders pattern coming on here, because we are likely to find some resistance off this 21 moving average as well, and then we are likely to come down like so, find a nice level of support, and then have that continuation up. Shoulder, head, shoulder, right? Very likely for this scenario to play out as it is doing it on a lot of charts. But as I said before, on a lot of charts, we do obviously have these lower highs to smash through, right? We are currently testing lower highs continuously right now from this insane dump. But yeah, if we're looking at a nice actual trend reversal, looking at that bull market coming through once again, it could be around this, where it's going to be around this point here, around this major level of resistance at 1.25. So definitely something to consider when trading your XRP, guys. Definitely something to consider when trading your XRP. At this point in time, I've been streaming for 50 minutes, right? I'm probably going to go for an hour and 15 minutes today, guys. But guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. And also, I do stream every single morning for an hour to 2 hours. I do a TA on Bitcoin, a short term, a mid term, and a long term. So if you want to see some more stuff like that, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads or one of my streams, right? And guys, if you've got any altcoins, right, dump them in the chat. I'll do a TA for you as well. Let's jump straight to ADA, right? I'm going to go straight to ADA here. We'll start off on the daily for ADA. Right now. As you can see, the highest point for ADA that we had here was $2.33. These insane sell-offs were obviously I think it was Elon, right? I think it was Elon doing his madness, and these we did have these lower lows continuously, but we have seen a reverse in this trend, creating these lower highs. I'm just gonna have a drink of water here. My throat is killing me, right? Second stream of the day. I want to be doing this like twice a day, right? But I am literally, I've only been doing this 2 weeks, right? So around 2 weeks, a week and a half. So I'm obviously continuously trying to improve and get my point across and work on my speed and all that stuff there, right? So at this point in time, we did see this insane dump, these insane lower lows get created, but as you can see, we have a higher low getting created here and continuous high lows getting created on the daily, which is healthy in terms of a trend reversal, right? In terms of a trend reversal, that's basically ideal. That is what we want. At this point in time, target-wise, we're hopefully going to stay above this 55 moving average. If we can stay above this 55 moving average, then we're going to be looking at basically potentially a progression move to the upside. But if we do lose it and we do find some sort of resistance there, we're looking at a support level of around 1.37. In my opinion, very, very bullish on ADA. And I have been since back at $1, right? Since a while ago, right? Yeah. I've been insanely bullish on ADA, and I do think there's insane stuff happening there. And over the next 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years or something like that, we're going to see insane price surges, right? Insane price surges from what they're doing over in Africa, right? If you haven't done your research on that, I suggest you do. They've got quite a few videos on YouTube. Have a little search on them, because you're going to become insanely bullish on ADA once you have those videos. But at this point in time, we've obviously got the dirty bear market pulling us down, and the dirty Bitcoin price pulling us down at this point. But we are looking to see some sort of swift recovery. And also, I do believe ADA is going to potentially, once all the panic selling's happened, if we do go into a solid bear market, right, I do believe ADA is going to trade opposite to the market, and we are going to see those progressionary moves to the upside when everything else is trending down, because it actually does. It's going to have an insane use, right? It's going to absolutely have an insane use, which is there's a lot of confidence in it. There's a lot of fundamentals to why I think it's going to continuously go up, right? In terms of prices, right? Let's get back to the charts, the TA, right? The TA. Let's get back to the charts. We do have this 21 moving average coming along the top side here. As you can see, we do have dominant levels of support here. Dominant levels of support. So we do need to break that to the upside, break this resistance, which we're currently finding. And if we do find that level of support here, I can see the price progressing up from there, potentially going back up to the new all-time high from before, and at that around $2.29 there. That would be essentially ideal. We do obviously have this volume weighted ATR band coming through, which is this red line coming through here, and we are testing that currently. If we can find a level of support on that, that is basically another indication that we are going to progress to the upside as well. So definitely something to watch. Price to watch, in my opinion, on the daily right now would be around $1.63. Definitely an insane price. If we can get a daily close above that, I'm looking even more bullish for ADA, right? Even more bullish for ADA. If we are to lose that bottom price target, I do think we'll probably hit 1.37. I can't see us going any much lower than that. Lowest point would be just above this higher low here. And if we are to lose that, and that's at around 1.26, if we are to lose that, then we could potentially see a reversal in the trend and basically see a higher low coming down, looking something along the lines of this, right? Don't think we're going to see that, because I'm very bullish on ADA, right? In terms of TA, this is the crucial point to watch here, right? In terms of the 4 hour, in terms of the midterm for ADA right now, God, it looks good in terms of recovering, in terms of buying power right now, in terms of this trend reversal after this correction, which we've just had here. Because obviously we did see this insane surge of buying power over the last day or so from the bottom point here to the top point. We're looking at 50% gain for ADA. Very, very insane stuff. You could have done some insane accumulation at the bottom side here. I know I did. Insane stuff there. Insane money to be made, right? In terms of targets right now, to the downside, the level of support that we could potentially hit, because we are in a sense setting lower lows continuously. This one isn't quite a lower low here. The most recent 4 hour candle that we're in now, but it's not closed, right? Anything can happen, right? It's not closed. So we are actually currently setting a higher low, right? Currently setting a higher low, but it's not closed. So if it is to fall down to a lower low here, I don't think it is, because in terms of price rejection from there, it's going to look something along the lines of that. A nice 5% drop there. Don't think it's going to happen within the hour, but who knows, hey? Who knows, hey? If that is to happen, level of support is around 1.40 there, so $1.40, right? In terms of the level of support which we're currently finding at this point in time, and we're finding a level of support on this 21 moving average is at $1.50, right? Currently only at $1.52, $1.52.84 there. We're looking at coming up to test this price action channel. If we can find a level of support on that, that's basically going to signal that we are entering a very juicy uptrend indeed. As you can see, this indicator plots out if the candles are red, right? If the candles are red, we're in a downtrend. If the candles are blue, we're in that uptrend. So there's potential chances for a long there if we are above this price action channel when we turn blue. So price to watch for that to happen, right, is around 1.56. At this point in time, we have tested it at 1.55, and we've seen that resistance forming there. Obviously, it's not ideal. We have this 200 moving average coming in as well, and we are seeing insane resistance, as you can see here, off this moving average here, and also we got the 55 swooping in as well. So we got all these major points of resistance to break through before we see some sort of imminent surge to the upside. But seeing this price action here, it's likely that we are going to surge to the upside if we can clear these crucial lower high points, which we set previously when we were trending down, right? These are pretty crucial points to get over. If we don't get over them, we are going to see some pretty strong resistance, in my opinion, potentially bringing us down to this sort of level here. Definitely something to think about or consider when you're trading ADA. In terms of head and shoulder patterns right now, with ADA, you can probably see it's pretty obvious right here. You can see like, let me get that tool up. Yeah, you can see a shoulder. No, sorry, wrong one. Shoulder, head, shoulder, potentially forming here. These two should be more shoulder, head, shoulder. Yeah, so we could be seeing some sort of price action coming down around here. Potentially won't be a candle close in my opinion. It'll probably be a wick, something like that, if we are to see some sort of sell-off like that. And then the progression to the upside, challenging these lower highs in terms of horizontal resistance points there. So there's definitely a few things to think about when trading ADA there. But the main point I want to get across here, we need to get over these moving averages here. We do need to get over these moving averages here, right? Let me just have a look at the chat here. I've got it too far over. Hi from Germany, ready for Hammy stream. Yeah, Hammy, big up, Bitcoin beats. Litecoin, please. What do you think about EOS? Hi there, speedy version of Hamilton. Yeah, we are brothers. We had the same voice, pretty crazy. But yeah, if I bring up EOS as a request. But yeah, guys, if you're liking the stream, I appreciate those likes. Turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously. And guys, I stream every single day. Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every morning. So yeah, if you want to see more of my content, hit that subscribe button, helps me out tremendously. Obviously, I'm a new streamer, so I'm trying to improve. I don't know whether I'm going too fast, whether I'm going too slow, but yeah, I am trying to improve continuously. It is pretty straining on the throat, I must say. But yeah, as you can see, EOS right now, let's go to the daily, right? Let's EOS right now on the daily. As you can see here, we have had that downwards falling off period, setting those lower lows continuously. And that was obviously that insane stuff happening for Bitcoin, right? And we have had that buying power like we see on most charts, right? We have had that buying power. Lowest level of support for EOS here is around this 3.6 mark. We are currently testing the idea of finding a nice level of support on this 200 moving average here. We do have a horizontal... we are below it yet, so horizontal resistance point here at around 5.5. So in terms of a target for the long term, I would be looking at getting over that, hopefully finding a nice level of support, getting a nice candle close in around 9 hours. Yeah, just under 9 hours there, getting a nice candle close above that, and that's basically going to signal some sort of upwards momentum, right? If we can get that, ideal. If we don't get that, look, it's not the end of the world. We do have these higher lows here. We do have these higher lows after these lower lows that have been formed here. So that basically is an initial sign that we are finding that upwards momentum, right? We are finding that upwards momentum. So it is looking like we are going to continue up if we can get a daily close above this level of resistance at this point. If we can, next level I'd be looking for is this 55 moving average coming down on the daily, and that is around $7 there. A nice $7 for EOS. EOS, I don't know if I'm saying it right? EOS around $7 there. It's definitely something to think about. And then obviously the next targets after that, we got the 21 moving average. We got the price action channel coming through there. So yeah, I would be looking at basically focusing on that daily candle close and finding a nice level of support on this horizontal resistance line at 5.56. That's obviously the daily. Let's jump to the 4 hour here. As you can see, we do have this volume weighted ATR band coming through, which we did find a big level of resistance on here. But as you can probably see here, we do find nice level of support, nice level of resistance. And if we go back in time, look, the support that we find on this volume weighted ATR band is pretty good, right? It's usually pretty good. If we don't find support in it, we will lose it, but we will always find it. We will always find it, right? So that's definitely something to think about in terms of a target for the price right now, if we can get some support on it. And that is around $5.82 there. So that would be a nice little target to the upside if we can hold the upwards momentum on this 21 moving average that we've got here. Worst case scenario, in an hour's time when the 4 hourly closes, if we are below this 21, I can see us basically coming down to this horizontal level of support here at $4.95. Definitely something to consider, right? I wouldn't be taking any shorts anytime soon, or I just probably wouldn't be trading this anytime soon. But yeah, if we are to close below this 21, we are likely to come down, in my opinion. But as you can see here, we have on this chart here, we did set a lower low here, and then ever so slightly there was another lower low here, very, very tight indeed, before we can see that immediate reversal in the trend. So that's something to think about as well. We could see a reversal in the next 56 minutes or so, coming down to this point, setting a lower low. If that is to happen, we might even lose this level of support here. This level of support here at 4.96 there. If we lose that level of support there, the next point here is the monthly pivot point at around $4.38 there. Definitely something to think about when trading EOS, I think it's called, right? When trading EOS, right? Yeah, upwards target. Let's clear that volume weighted ATR one at $5.80. That would be ideal, and we would be clearing this higher high of this uptrend here as well. So crucial point to get over here. In terms of if we are to get over that and we are to clear this volume weighted ATR band and see that upwards momentum, we have got these lower highs coming down here. We've got these lower highs coming down here, creating pretty dominant levels of resistance here, pretty dominant levels of resistance. And I'm pretty concerned about this on quite a few charts, right? Pretty concerned about this on quite a few charts, because we could see pretty imminent rejections, right? Pretty imminent rejections as soon as we get there. And then we could potentially see some insane sell-offs and some insane dumps from there. I mean, ideally we don't. And then that basically means this is all just a complete trap, right? This is all a complete trap, and then we can progress to the upside and continue this lovely, juicy, money-making bull run that we're on, right? If we can do that, ideal. If we don't do that, it's likely we are to continue down, right? We're likely that we are to continue down, right? So crucial point to watch is around 6.75, but obviously we're on the 4 hour, so we got a little while before we get there. I don't think we're going to see some insane surge to the upside anytime soon, right? That is EOS. Let me do like a 15-minute and 1 day saying it will go down further, even right down to the shoulders forming. Yeah, yes, sir. Much further BTC USD, of course. Yes, sir. Let me have a little look here. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Look, we do have a shoulder forming down to this side here, and actually that would be the level of support at around 35,100. Pretty imminent stuff if it is going to happen, right? Pretty imminent stuff it is going to happen. I would like to see a rejection off this, a support getting found at this 35 level. Likelihood, if we see some sort of sell-off coming down here, we are going to have quite a bit of FUD in the market, and we are potentially going to come down even to test this trend line here, this downward sloping resistance line that we do have on this price channel coming down here, right? So it's definitely something to consider with Bitcoin on the short term there. Let's go to the live price. The live price area. I'm just gonna have some more water. Streaming for an hour now, right, guys? As I said, this is my second stream of the day, so my throat is killing me. This stream for 2 hours this morning. And guys, I stream every morning. If you want to tune into that as well, hit that like button if you like my stream, and you want to turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? But yeah, if you want to tune into my stream every single morning, Monday to Friday, I stream for around an hour or two, and that could just hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you're never going to miss when I'm live. You're never going to miss when I'm live. In terms of a price target for Bitcoin right now, I'd be looking at clearing these major moving averages on the short term, which is the hourly time frame, and they're looking, in my opinion, pretty called up right now. And that's probably why we're seeing this rejection in the price here. But at the end of the day, we're still setting those higher lows to the upside in terms of this mini trend reversal, right? We're still setting those higher lows. As long as this hourly candle, God, we're only 52 minutes into this candle, it's dumping, right? As long as we don't see us basically get over this point here around 36.5 here, then I can basically see us potentially having a nice reversal and basically going sideways, smashing through potentially these moving averages we've got going on here. If we can smash through them and hold them, ideal. I can see us coming up and testing this downward sloping resistance line at 39k there. If not, we're going to be setting a lower low here in terms of this downtrend. It basically means that the downtrend is going to continue, and it's looking like we are going to come down. Indeed, right? And that's the next level is around 35,245. So it's definitely something to think about for Bitcoin there. Let me jump to the midterm for Bitcoin right now. The midterm for Bitcoin right now, as I was discussing on my stream this morning, I did actually get in a nice long position as we cleared this falling wedge here. Obviously, my mouse is really sticking today. It's really annoying. We do have this falling wedge pattern coming down here. In terms of a measure move for that falling wedge pattern, it's looking like something along the lines of this, right? Something along the lines of this. We would be getting back. We would be getting into our trade on the retest, right? We get into our trade on the retest of this downward sloping resistance line here. And in terms of a percent for that trade, it was juicy, but it was it was looking like a 10%, right? It was looking like a 10%, and then I saw the downward sloping resistance line on the RSI, right? I saw the downward sloping resistance line on the RSI, which is this not quite beautiful point, but this point here, right? This point here, and he said beautiful again, and that basically gave me the initial signal that we weren't going to come up and test this 55 moving average, and it was basically an insane call to basically be like, right, yeah, there's the reversal, there's the resistance. That's where I'm going to take my profit for my trade. I think I made just under 8% on that trade. Very, very nice yesterday. Very juicy indeed. At this point in time, we are currently testing. This is for Bitcoin, of course. We are currently testing the 10 moving average and the 21 here. If we can get over that in the next hour or so to close the 4 hour, that would be ideal. But as you can see here, we have just set a lower low on this trend on the 4 hour, so that could initiate. We are going to come down lower. I mean, it's not very dominant, right? It's not very dominant wick to the downside in terms of a lower low here. So that is basically an initial sign that we are gonna, on the next candle, potentially come down like this and then see a higher low here, and then I can't really do this with my mouse. See a higher low here, and then see some sort of pattern reversal from there in terms of candles and price action looking something not quite like that, but something along the lines of that, right? But in order for that to happen, we are going to need to see some resistance from the 21 here and the 10 moving average coming down here, as we're currently pretty much testing, right? We're currently pretty much testing. In terms of the upside target, I'd be looking for would be this 55 moving average coming down here. But as I said a minute ago, we do have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI to think about, which is pretty dominant, right? It's pretty dominant. As you can see, we do have a lot of resistance coming off that line, and that was obviously the initial take profit of why I didn't think we were going to get to that 55. But vice versa, it's still going to be fairly valid when we come up and try and test it again, right? Maybe we could break it, right? Maybe we could break it. Hopefully, I mean, goddamn, we do need to break it. We do need to break it, just for Bitcoin to surge even higher and pull everything else up with it. That's what we want, right? But in order for that to happen, we are going to need to find a significant level of support on the 21 moving average and the 10 simple going through there. Target-wise, be the 55, 40K there. The absolute bottom that I can see happening right now for Bitcoin is if we get some swift rejection on the RSI here, would be this volume-weighted ATR band coming down. As you can see, we do find a nice level of resistance there, nice level of support here, and this volume-weighted ATR band is pretty heavily respected, right? It's pretty heavily respected continuously. So yeah, so if we are going to come down, this would be pretty much the bottom, and it is going to correlate perfectly, hopefully, with this downward sloping resistance line as well. So we could potentially be looking for a potential long position from there, right? We could be looking for a potential long position from there, obviously depending on the price action, whether it's insanely volatile or not. But yeah, potential long position coming down from there, because we are going to have that reversal on the RSI here. And in terms of a percent for that trade, for something to look out for, obviously on the predication that we get down there, and then we're going to take profit at this 21 moving average coming down here. It's going to be around a 5% trade there. Very nice little long indeed, right? Definitely something to consider. Definitely something to consider when trading BTC on the midterm, right? I do need to bring this chat closer to my screen, right? That's definitely something to do on my next stream. And that's kind of BTC right now. That's kind of BTC right now. Obviously, we do have these dominant points to get over. When we do find that level of support on the moving average here at around the $40,000 mark, hopefully we can get over that. If not, we are going to see some potential continuation down, right? Absolute bottom I can see happening around is around 33,000, and that's where we saw the candle close from before. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't happen, right? Really goddamn hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, let's switch to some altcoins, right? If you've got any altcoins, guys, throw them in the chat and I'll do a little TA for you. And guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously, new guy on the block. I do need to get in those YouTube algos. They're pretty hard to come in and be the new guy there. It takes a long time on YouTube, so I appreciate all your guys' help there in that sense, right? Let's go to Tron. Let's do a bit of Tron, right? Let's do a little bit of Tron. And jump to the daily on Tron now. Let me get rid of all that mess there. Jump to the daily on Tron. As you can see, we do have those dominant trend lines coming through there, but we did lose them pretty significantly. We did lose them pretty significantly when we saw that drop. At this point in time, we are finding a nice level of support on this 200 moving average, right? On this 200 moving average, we're finding a nice level of support. So that's definitely something to consider, right? Because as you can see, we were setting lower lows, right? We were setting lower lows every time we're coming down, and it's pretty much the same thing on all the charts, right? And then we are setting higher lows continuously. We have found a nice level of support on this 200 moving average here. Found a nice level of support on this 200 moving average, and we're currently testing this monthly pivot point here. If we can get over that, in the next near enough 9 hours, right, that would be ideal for another leg up, and then we would potentially, my target would be around this 21 moving average coming down, and that's literally 10 cents, right? Tron back at 10 cents. Very good stuff indeed. Pretty excited about that. If you were looking to accumulate, this is pretty much the point to do that, right? Because this is the lowest point I can see us really going for now in terms of the trend at this point in time. Look, you can see us how we've progressed since this bull run basically begun, right? Since this bull run basically begun, how we've basically progressed to the upside. It's a healthy retracement. I hate to say it's a healthy retracement. Granted, it's a scary retracement because all of us, well, not all of us, but a lot of people were panic selling, right? A lot of people were panic selling, and it's puts a lot of scarcity in the market in a sense, right? So ideally, we are going to see some momentum to the upside now, setting these higher lows continuously. But as I said, target not one cent, 10 cents there, and then obviously if we can clear that, if we can clear the resistance off that on the 21, the next target is the price action channel and the 55 moving average, and then finally the volume weighted ATR band, which would be absolutely lovely indeed, lovely indeed, right? Now, moving to the midterm for Tron here, as you can see, we have been setting those lower lows continuously as a lot of the charts. We have seen this insane pump continuing on a lot of the altcoins, right? Continuing on a lot of the altcoins at this point in time. Target-wise, there's not really that much I can say because all the charts look the same, really, in terms of the midterm, right? All the charts pretty much look the same. But obviously, the moving averages and all that stuff are in the different places, right? So in terms of targets, I'd be looking at breaking this volume-weighted ATR band that we got coming down at around 7 cents if you're trading Tron. And then your next target is the price action channel here, which we've already tested once, found a nice level of resistance here, pushed us down, and now we set a higher low here. We're looking at basically getting that progression to the upside from there. And then after that, if we do get those candles turning blue, our next target is around that 55 moving average here. And then from there, if we find a level of support, we're going to be looking at testing these lower high points here. Crucial points for all the altcoins and especially for Bitcoin itself, right? If we can get over that, ideal. We got the 200 coming down, and that is around 9 cents itself, right? Definitely something to consider when trading Tron on the midterm, right? But as I said, a lot of the charts are the same. A lot of the charts are planning out the same things at this point in time. So I would be cautious, right? I would be cautious because when that happens, you do get a lot of traps, right? You do get a lot of traps. Dominant trend lines, you can see coming down here, looking pretty much something like along the lines of this. So that would be a pretty heavy target if we were to see some upwards buying power. Potentially, we are going to see that. But as we've discussed, we do have that head and shoulders pattern to think about. And this could be where we find that massive level of resistance, right? If we do delay it and we earn that sideways sort of crap for a while, right? And then we see an insane level of resistance. And then we see that insane correction, potentially lower low. Potentially not, hopefully not. If the bear market if this bear market stuff is basically faked, then I can see us progressing to the upside. But crucial point to get over is this 9 cent mark and this obviously dominant downward sloping resistance line here. That's pretty much Tron summed up, guys. If you've got any altcoins at all, whack them in the chat, and I'll do a little TA for you guys. Let me do XMR because I am bullish on XMR, right? I am bullish on XMR. I am going to shoot off actually in probably 5 minutes time, right? Because I have been streaming. It's going to be near enough 3.5 hours today altogether. But yeah, I do stream every morning, guys. So if you do want to tune into that, that is from around 8 or 9 in the morning, usually around 8 o'clock. I do sometimes have to. My partner's learned to drive, so I have to drive her to work. Well, she has to drive to work, and I have to sit there, which kind of sucks because it ruins my schedule. But I do aim to stream around 8 to 9 in the morning for around 1 to 2 hours, and I do altcoin videos. I do emergency price updates, etc. across YouTube. So if you never want to miss one of my uploads, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads. It's simple as that, right? At this point in time, for XMR, let's go to the daily, right? Pretty much the same thing. Well, it's not the same thing, actually. We did have only one lower low getting set here, and then it was a higher low, and then we did see a lower low from this downtrend of this recovery here. But since then, we've seen the higher lows coming up, the support being found on this 200 moving average, which is very nice indeed. If we can close the if we can close the daily candle above that, I can see us progressing. Next target for XMR is around the $282 mark, which would be very lovely indeed for XMR. And guys, if you've seen XMR recently, if you've been keeping an eye on Monero, we have seen quite a lot of insane buying power to the ceiling, right? Insane buying power to the ceiling. Look, from this lower low that we set here, we have seen an insane buy up, a lot more than a lot of the altcoins, and that's why it was kind of jumping out at me. I have been really bullish on Monero since it was around $80, right? Because I read an article and it said originally where Bitcoin started was like the dark web, right? Because it was all untraceable and all that stuff. Not so untraceable anymore with blockchain forensics and stuff. But Yeah, that's why it originally started on the blockchain, not the blockchain, on the dark web. Bitcoin did, because people thought it was insanely untraceable. And now the pretty dominant coin on the dark web is basically Monero, right? I read that in an article, so I was like, okay, maybe I want to get some Monero. So I bought a load of Monero, and it just went to the moon from there, right? Really, really good stuff for Monero. So I am still insanely bullish on Monero, because it is one of the altcoins that does have a pretty dominant use. So that's definitely something to think about if you are going to add this to your portfolio. I mean, to be honest, what I say is not financial advice. It's just what I think is going to happen in terms of education and my opinions, right? Education and my opinions of what I think is going to happen in the market. So yeah, I do think Monero is going to behave completely different to a lot of the altcoins when we do have that confirmation of that bear market coming down. But obviously, before we can see that, we are going to see some more traps to the upside, I think. But at this point in time, target-wise, it is those lower high points from that insane dump that we had, and that is sitting at around 283, as just said there. If we are going to lose this 200 moving average on the daily here, I'd say the lower point of the target would be around here, around this point here, around 197, that horizontal support level that we've got going on there. But as I just said there, it is on the predication that we lose this 200 moving average on the daily. We do have 8 hours and 40 minutes left on that daily to think about. And even if we do get down there, right, if we get down to this level of support, we're still setting a higher low. It's still going to be a higher low. So that is still an indication that we are potentially going to progress to the upside. Very, very nice stuff indeed for XMR, right? Let me jump to the 4 hourly for XMR. 4 hourly for XMR. God, my throat is hurting now, I'll tell you that. We do obviously have dominant trend lines coming down from the top side here. If we are to clear them, we could be looking at a nice long, potentially taking profit at this 55 moving average coming down here, potentially taking maybe 50% profit there, and then seeing how we're behaving on that 55 moving average, and then potentially coming up and testing the 200 there. Definitely something to consider. If we are going to basically break this major moving average that we've got coming down, here, definitely something to consider when trading Monero, right? If we can clear. If we don't clear it and we find that level of resistance on this downward sloping resistance line here, oh, that's the wrong one, downward sloping resistance line here, we could be looking at coming down and testing this level of support at around 211. So that is definitely something to think about. And as you can see here, pretty obviously, we do have a descending triangle playing out. For you newbies here, this is a descending triangle, like so. Triangle, it's descending, right? Descending triangle, simple as that. If you're looking for a measure move up from there, potentially, if we're not going to test this bottom side of it, we'd go on the most recent uptrend if we're moving to the upside. Obviously, on the predication of where we're going to break here, in terms of a measure move to the upside, we could be looking at something like that, seeing around a measure move completion at around 309 there, obviously, depending on where we're going to break on this downward sloping resistance line on the top side of this descending triangle here. In terms of a percent for that trade, right, we're looking at around a 23% trade, something along the lines of that. But let me bring the moving averages back in, and let's see. Obviously, we're going to be looking at these moving averages coming down, because these two are pretty dominant ones. And if we see some sort of price action coming down, and then we consolidate at the bottom side of this triangle for a bit longer, we are going to see these moving averages come down, and they're going to act as pretty heavy resistance for the completion of this measure move here. So that's definitely something to think about if we are going to break to the top side of this triangle. If we're going to break to the bottom side of this descending triangle here, I would be looking at some sort of measure move. Obviously, we are going to come down if we are going to break to the bottom side, so we'll be looking at some sort of smaller measure move looking like so. Obviously, depending on where we're going to break along this horizontal support point here. It's not a point where we're going to set a lower low, which is ideal, right? It is going to be a lower high, and remember, we are on the 4-hour time frame, not the daily, so we can basically recover to the upside from there if we do see a low point of 140 there. Hope not. Hope we don't see that as pretty low, in my opinion, right? In terms of a percent for that trade, if you're looking for that, obviously we do have these horizontal resistance points. Horizontal support points to think about. Pretty dominant, as you can see here. We can see the upside potential from there, so we could see a trap to the downside and then a wave up. Definitely something to think about. But in terms of downside trend here, we're going to be looking at downside breakout. We're going to be looking at a 27% gain there for that measure move. Interesting stuff indeed, in my opinion, for Monero. Yeah, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream there. I'm pretty tired now. I've streamed for 3.5 hours today, but I do stream every morning, guys. I stream every single morning for an hour or two. So make sure you tune into that, and you can trade with me in the morning. I do a TA on Bitcoin, short term, mid term, and the long term there, and then I jump onto some altcoins, and I do I basically do a TA on altcoins for you guys on the ones that you request in the chat. So yeah, if you don't want to ever miss out on that, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads. I also do altcoin videos. I also do emergency updates. I'm just uploading every day here, guys, right? And also, if you could hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, new guy on the block in terms of YouTube. I've only been here for around, 2 weeks here, so I need to get on those algorithms, and it is, it's pretty hard, right? It's pretty hard in this game to get on those algorithms as well. I've been streaming to literally no one for quite a while now. But yeah, so that's going to be me signing off. And thanks again for watching, guys. Means a lot. Peace out from me, Crypto Chester.